Daniel Part 2. Eventually, Nebuchadnezzar died, and his son Belshazzar was appointed king. Belshazzar decided to throw a party. As they drank from the temple cups and mocked God, a hand appeared and wrote on the wall. Belshazzar was terrified, so he sent for Daniel to interpret the writing. Daniel said, "You have mocked God. Your kingdom has been given to the Medes and the Persians." Then Belshazzar gave Daniel the third highest position in the kingdom. The Persian army had redirected the river Babylon by digging trenches and making a dam. Now they were creeping into the city through the sewer system. King Darius considered making Daniel the head of the whole kingdom, second only to himself. The other leaders became very jealous of Daniel, so they made a plan to trap him. They suggested a new law to only pray to the king, and if anyone prayed to any other god, they should be cast into a den of lions. The king had no idea what was going on, so he signed a law that could not be altered. When the conspirators found Daniel praying, they went to the king saying, "Daniel the Hebrew is praying to his God 3 times a day." Darius couldn't alter the law, so he sent for Daniel. When they reached the lion's den, the king said, "Daniel, your God will deliver you." The lions were kept back with fire, and Daniel was made to enter. These lions were only lightly fed, so they were continually hungry. A great stone was rolled over the mouth of the lion's den, then sealed. Suddenly, an angel appeared to protect Daniel. King Darius was both angry and upset, as he considered the situation was his fault. That night, Darius couldn't sleep. Very early in the morning, the king made his way to the lion's den. "Daniel, is your God able to deliver you from the lions?" Daniel shouted back, "O king, live forever." The king gave orders to release Daniel. Darius was overwhelmed, and he executed Daniel's accusers. Then Darius wrote a declaration to the entire world, proclaiming Daniel's God to be the living God. Daniel received from God dreams, interpretations of dreams, and visions of the future. The first year when Belshazzar the Babylonian was king, Daniel had a dream. Daniel saw the 4 winds of heaven blow upon the great sea. Then he saw 4 beasts. The first beast was like a lion with eagle's wings. The second beast was like a bear, and it had 3 ribs between its teeth. The third beast was like a leopard with 4 wings. The fourth beast was very powerful. It had iron teeth and 10 horns. An angel explained the dream to Daniel, saying, "The 4 great beasts are 4 kingdoms that will arise from the earth. In the 3rd year, when Cyrus was king, a message was revealed to Daniel. He was by the river when he saw a vision of a man dressed in gold linen. No strength remained in me. As I listened, I fell into a deep sleep. Daniel was told what would happen to his people, the Israelites, in the last days. There will be a time of great tribulation like never before. At the time of the end, the great prince who protects Daniel's people will stand up. At that time, Daniel, everyone who is found written in the book of life will be delivered. Then Daniel is told to end his writing and seal the book, for it will not be understood until the end of the age. The captivity in Babylon lasted for 70 years. In the story we have just told, the Persians conquered the Babylonians. It was at this time that God spoke to the king of Persia to set the children of Israel free. The historical records show a remnant of 43,360 left the captivity, plus a further 7,337 servants. But many Israelites remained unwilling to leave their property. 520 years before Christ, at the urging of Haggai and Zechariah, Zerubbabel started to rebuild the temple. The temple was completed 5 years later on March the 12th, 515 BC, and Ezra became the priest. Nehemiah, the king's head waiter, left to start to rebuild the walls in Jerusalem. In the year 479 BC, the Jewess Esther became queen of Persia. During this time, Malachi, the last book of the Old Testament, was written. The 400-year period from Malachi to John the Baptist is known as the Silent Years. The temple was in a continual state of disrepair, and the Persian Empire was eventually conquered by the Greeks, led by Alexander the Great, 334 years before Christ. Eventually the Romans conquered the Greeks, and 63 years before the Messiah, the Roman general Pompey the Great took control of Jerusalem. And so it was that the whole land of Israel became part of the Roman Empire, just as Daniel had prophesied. Under Herod, 19 years before Christ, the rebuilding of the Third Temple began. The next prophet of Israel was John the Baptizer. His message was, "Prepare the way for the Lord."